little bit of salsa on there.
Hey, what is going on? So today I actually wanted to do something a little bit different. This is based off a community post that I had actually. And I asked if I should start covering cooking with Jack. So cooking with Jack is not anything that I am very familiar with. And the reason why is because I just haven't ever seen anything by him before. There is this other creator that I follow that did a reaction video. So what I was thinking to myself was, what if I did a reaction video that was a little bit different? And what I did is I took his recipes and show how I might do something similar or something close to what he did. So this first video, I just picked the most popular one, Cooking with Jack, how to make the perfect omelet. So let's see what he does right, what he does wrong, and we are only focusing on the food. This dude seems like a really nice guy, somebody you would want to have a beer with. I don't think he deserves any like really nasty hate or anything like that. A lot of the food he cooks is personally for him and his family. It's not for a restaurant. So I don't really want to give this dude a whole bunch of hate as far as like who he is as a person. Seems like a really nice dude. So what I want to do is more along the lines of correcting the recipes and focusing on the actual food. All right, so let's get started.
Welcome to Cooking with Jack. I'm Jack, and I'm here to do another cooking tip for you. Today, we're going to show you how to make the perfect omelet. We got our eggs,
stainless steel pan.
We got our ingredients. Let's talk about what the problem with the omelets are. One of the problems is,
what are the problems with the omelet?
It gets cooked too much. Then when you fold it over, you can never get the inside cooked, so it's runny on.
Okay, the reason why you can't get the inside cooked and the outside ends up brown is because your pan is too hot. You want to have your pan set somewhere closer to, like, if you're running an electric, somewhere between a 2 and a 4. 4 is probably better because when the egg actually hits the pan, it's going to cool off the pan a little bit. So you want to have it closer to, the temperature wise, about 250 to 300 degrees. That's usually how you'll get the best omelet. Also, when you're doing the omelet, let's see, let's just follow the video here.
The inside, dark brown on the outside. That's the problem with omelets. Growing up, I always had problems. Some people put lids on it. We're going to show you a new method.
Yeah, so what he's referring to with the lid is basically a technique called basting. So you get a lid and you get a little squeezy of water and you shoot some water down underneath the in the pan, put the lid on it, and that steam will help finish cooking the eggs. We do that a lot in restaurants.
One of our viewers wrote in, his name is Kelly, and he wrote us a great method, and I'm going to try it for the first time. I don't even know if it's going to work. So if it screws up, just hang in there with me. We'll see what happens. But it's supposed to be the perfect omelet.
That's cool. I kind of like that. I kind of like that style where it's not so much all of the fluffy, frilly, like he's admitting like, hey, maybe this will work, maybe it won't. I think that appeals to a very different audience than your Bobby Flays and your Gordon Ramsays, where they want to have this image of everything they do is perfect.
All right, omelets are pretty easy when it comes to the ingredients, and you can put anything you want in an omelet. You would be surprised some of the stuff I've seen in an omelet. First thing you want to do is spray the pan. You can put butter. I don't use butter anymore.
Okay, I don't spray.
It's just not healthy. So I try and stay away from the butter. Spray it with pan,
okay,
spray it with result.
He said he doesn't use butter because it's just not healthy. So my whole thing, just use butter. Just use butter. Life's too short. You may as well just use some butter. Spraying the pan is, you can do that too, but I usually won't. I have used pan spray before, but most of the time I want to use whole real butter and get that in the pan and get that melted while I'm doing my eggs.
Anything you want. Then you got to decide how many eggs you want. A good eater is 3, but for presentation wise, I'm using 4 eggs today, and we're gonna crack those open.
That's true. 3 is about the standard. That's what most restaurants will do.
I'm going with the basics of ham, onion, tomato, and cheese. I'm using the Mexican.
Nothing wrong with that.
Once again,
most common omelet in America is a ham and cheese omelet.
So, crack these eggs open. Now, one thing.
Okay, so one thing he's doing here is he's cracking eggs into the bowl directly, which there's not really a problem with that, but what I usually do and what I recommend and what we'll usually do in a kitchen setting is we'll actually use a sieve for the eggs. So we'll crack the eggs into the sieve, and then we will use a whip and then whip them through that. That will help prevent the any shells from getting through.
Never asked her. She always taught me to just pour a little.
That's true. So I actually used milk in the recipe that I'm showing. I actually used milk in the recipe that I'm showing, but I actually prefer using some kind of either sour cream or heavy cream or something with a little more fat in it. The butter will really add a lot of that fat, so I didn't have any heavy cream, so I just did milk too. Nothing wrong with that.
We're gonna bring it over to the stove.
Okay, so what he just did there, that's one thing that I would recommend not doing. So he put the eggs in the pan before putting it on the stove. So what I recommend doing is you want to get your skillet on the burner, get your burner going, and then you can adjust your heat if you need to. But like I said, you want to do like a pretty low, medium low kind of heat, maybe medium. Like I said, if you're running an electric, set it to about a 4, maybe a 3, depends on the stove. There's this rule of thumb that whenever you're cooking food that you want to splash a little bit of water on the pan, and you want to look for that Maillard reaction. And if the reaction, if the water doesn't like bubble and start like, oh, it's Leidenfrost. I said Maillard. Maillard is browning, when you like brown steak. Leidenfrost. So when you splash the water on the skillet, if it doesn't bubble up and like kind of dance around the pan, then it's not hot enough, right? Well, with eggs, you don't want it that hot. You actually want it at a lower temp. You want it hot enough to cook the eggs, but not so hot that you're, you know, like stir frying. Definitely want it on a low heat. Now, I bought a heat gun, which you can actually find them on Amazon now really cheap. I think this one was like 20 bucks. Not bad at all.
With eggs, once you go too far, you go too far. Put the pan on there and let that cook for a little bit. Then once we start to get the bottom to solidify, we're gonna add the ingredients. But you gotta make sure we start cooking the bottom first.
The burner's not on.
Well, here's what I do. I always give it a good check. Don't worry about it, it's eggs. It's gonna.
I guess it is on, you just can't see the flames.
So I'll pull back a little bit just to see. Oh, there it is. Yep, it's solidifying everywhere correctly. Okay.
I mean, that's not a bad idea.
So you can see what's.
You want to test to see if it's actually gonna have.
Let it cook some more. You see how it's.
You know, that's something similar that I would do. Now, the only difference here is it looks like he's just letting the eggs sit.
These ingredients in right now.
The difference here is it looks like he's just letting the eggs sit, but what I like to do is actually curdle the eggs a little bit and create kind of like a structure. Yeah, the faster that you stir the eggs, the smaller the curds will be. It's up to you, like, if you want big or smaller curds. Smaller curds are probably closer to like a French-style omelet. I don't really make a lot of French-style omelets. I usually will either do it the way that I'm demoing here, or I will do a diner-style, which if I get enough views on this video, I'll actually show you guys how to do a diner-style omelet, like something that you might get at like a Denny's or a Perkins or something like that. I'll put my ingredients in there raw. You can do it cooked too. The only thing you have to worry about is putting in certain vegetables can be really watery, and it can like mess with the structure of the omelet.
We're gonna pop that in there. Make sure it's an oven safe pan. We're gonna let that cook.
The only problem that you could run into putting it in the broiler is if you don't do this correctly, you'll actually overcook the omelet to the point where you'll have a hard time folding it. And that's also why you want to have a structure, why you want those curds in the omelet. Because if you just leave it flat, then when you go to roll the omelet, there's a higher chance that the omelet will start to break. And the more cooked the eggs are, the more of a chance of that omelet breaking. For me, the only problem is it's just too many steps. I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with this as long as you do it right. But it's just an extra step. I don't want to do all this extra stuff for an omelet.
Not be good. There it is. See how the cheese is melted? Oh, look at that. Let's see if we can do this right. Come on, baby. And
all right, looks like it's sliding right off.
Oh, that's.
You know, that's really not a bad omelet. Now, I mean, I roll mine a little bit differently.
Omelet. I want to thank Kelly for the idea.
Yeah.
But you know what?
Yeah. I don't see. Maybe after I watch some more videos of his, I will start to see some more issues. That is a ton of salsa, but you know what? That's for him. He can make it however he wants. If he likes a ton of salsa on it, whatever. I wouldn't recommend making this for. So I wouldn't recommend putting that much salsa on it. Maybe do something on the side if you're gonna make it for somebody. But yeah, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. That was a great omelet. Like I said, I fold mine a little differently, and also the diner style will fold it even more differently. French style folds it differently. Really, it's all going to taste the same. So if you want to fold it in half like he did, it actually turned out really good. Mine, I love the way mine tastes, but I didn't really see too many issues other than probably don't need to put it in the broiler. And milk, totally 100% agree. And yeah, so if you are interested in me doing more of these, let me know in the comments, and also comment which video you would like me to replicate the recipe. Now remember, when I replicate it, what I'm going to do is kind of make corrections to it to turn it into something that is a little more normal, I guess. More mainstream or whatever. Like maybe if he uses, like, I don't know if he does like hot dogs and peanut butter and jelly or something really gross like that, but maybe taking the concept and trying to turn it into something that is has the correct flavor profiles and kind of explain how everything works. But yeah, I hope you learned something, and if you did, give me a like and a follow. I really appreciate any support that I get. You guys are awesome. You've been awesome since I started this channel. I never thought I'd be anywhere close to 4,000 subs at this point. Like I spent like a year and a half at like, I think between 60 and 100. So I definitely appreciate that. But otherwise, I hope you guys have an amazing day, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.